I'm pretty excited for this episode because I've spent a lot of time today doing research and creating a tool. I created my own Chat GPT, or a way of leveraging Chat GPT for my own database. What I've essentially done is taken all the videos. If you go to YouTube right now and you type in how to do YouTube SEO, these are the videos that you find. Okay, so the top videos, I've taken every single one of them and I added them into a database. Right, so you see I've got the title, the date the video was launched, the channel it came from, the link to the episode, and the full transcript. If I scroll to the right, you'll see more and more of the transcript. It keeps going on and on. So I've got the full transcript of the top 10 videos and the advice that they share about how to do YouTube SEO. Now, the reason that I've done this is because there's a lot of misinformation out there, and I want you guys to see what people are saying, what the top advice is, and talk about what's reality and what's not. Now, who am I? Who am I? Because I'm not ranking on this page yet. I'll show you how to get there. But just so you have some credibility, this is what I do. I produce over 60 different YouTube channels. So if you come to YouTube right now and you type in become politician, okay, we see Jay Townsend ranking number 1, number 2, number 3. All right, how does he get there? I produce his YouTube channel. He follows my strategy. So another example, if you type in discipline teenager, if I can spell there, you'll find Nicolene Peck ranking at the top. Let's do another one for Nicolene. If you type in self-government, you find her channel, you find the top 3 videos, so she dominates self-government. Let me type in construction management. You find Jason Schroeder ranking at the top. There he is in the 3rd position as well. So the strategy that I use really works well to get videos ranked at the top of YouTube. And yet the strategy that I teach is basically a secret because no one knows it. I'm the only one that's implementing this. So I've made it my mission to teach the right way and show you how I'm doing this. The revealing thing is none of these other creators can show you examples like this. They can't show channels that are dominating YouTube search. So let me show you how this tool works that I just created. I just barely started using it. I got so excited that I'm like, I'm gonna hit record so we can do this together. So I took this database, I exported it as a CSV file, then I came into ChatGPT. I'll scroll up to the top and show you what I've done so far. I just typed in these words here. I've created a database of YouTube transcripts from the top videos on YouTube answering the question, how to do YouTube SEO. I like to be able to ask you questions based on the data in this database only. So when I ask questions, it'll pull the information just from these top videos ranking on YouTube. It says, okay, yep, we got it here. It says paste in the database. So I uploaded the file. It then says, yep, we got it here. What questions do you want to ask? And I asked it a question. I said, how long does it take to rank at the top of YouTube? I forgot to tell it to summarize. So it showed me, which videos talk about what, but I said, yeah, summarize. So it gives me the summary. It says ranking on YouTube can happen quickly or slowly. It talks about the title, the tags, and the descriptions. It tells you that the channel Think Media says newer channels or videos without initial momentum may take longer to rank, which is kind of interesting because SEO doesn't have any momentum. You're making a video for people who've never heard of you before. So now I'm excited to ask some questions beyond this because they talk about, well, you've got to target the right keywords, right? I know exactly how to do this. I want to see what these creators are saying. So how do I target the right keywords? All right, I forgot to tell it to summarize. Okay, so if I ask the question, how do I target the right keywords? I need to start with YouTube search itself, type an idea into the YouTube search bar, look at autocomplete. Okay, I've heard that said many times before. It doesn't give you specific enough. It doesn't help. It's going to give you phrases that are 2, 3, and 4 words long. So this one says find keywords with low competition, but it's calling long tail 3 to 5 words because they're easier to rank for. Now, in principle, that is 100% correct, but search engines have gotten so better and so much more refined. Google search engine, YouTube search engine are using AI, so we can type in way more words, and people are. So phrases that contain between 3 and 5 words, those actually have high competition. There's much lower competition than that. If you can find questions that have 8 words or 9 words or 10 words long, that is the best place to start. That's where we started for the parenting channel and the construction management channel and the politician channel. All right, so right here it says use keyword research tools. Tools like TubeBuddy and vidIQ help you check search volume, how many people are searching it, and competition score. I'm really sad to report that the competition score is a bunch of garbage. Okay, the competition score doesn't tell you anything. I'll just show you a quick example. So if you go to YouTube and you type in how to discipline a child that lies and steals, you find Nicolene Peck ranking at the top. This is a long question. We got her to rank at the top of YouTube. This is a screenshot we're looking at here, but this was after 7 days and she already had 821 views. The vidIQ tool here gave her a score of 32 out of 100, and yet I got her ranking at the top of YouTube. If you go behind the scenes and you look at the TubeBuddy SEO score, it's a score of 50%. And where this score comes from is TubeBuddy has a list of things that you need to do to supposedly optimize your videos, and you're given a score of 100 if you check all the boxes. But a lot of the boxes that they have you check are old-fashioned. They were outdated 10 and some of them even 20 years ago. And they don't even check to see if your video is good, if your video will rank at the top, only if you check these boxes. I have checked all the boxes. This video is ranking at the top of YouTube, but these other YouTube experts are telling you to use TubeBuddy and vidIQ. Now, TubeBuddy and vidIQ can help with creativity, helping come up with ideas, and it can help you follow trends, but those are real strengths that you want to pursue if you're focusing on a channel for ad revenue. The channels that I've shown you, the channels that I produce, we leverage YouTube for lead generation. There's 2 different strategies. I talk a lot more about this in other videos on my channel. There's my strategy and there's Daryl Lee's strategy. You got to pick one or the other and go all in. You can't mix the 2 strategies. So when we're talking about SEO does not work with this strategy. So a lot of the stuff that they're talking about here, they're saying use TubeBuddy, use vidIQ. Those tools can be helpful if you're going to follow a Daryl Leaves type strategy and you want to get as many views as possible to focus on ad revenue. But if your goal is to show up in the top of search and leverage your YouTube channel for lead generation, by the way, search traffic is so valuable. It's way more valuable than suggested or browse traffic for lead generation. And search, you can be really, really tactical and actually consider YouTube a marketing tool, getting your videos in front of people who've never heard of you before, but are searching for your expertise. Okay, and this last tip that it shares right here is focus on high search volume, low competition keywords. I have to say it doesn't work. It doesn't work that way. Now, we want to rank for the high volume phrases, whether low or high competition, but we can't start there. We have to start with the low search volume, but still consistent, and low competition keywords. I often teach this as like a stair step, right? We want to rank for the phrases that have the higher search volume at the top, but to get there, just like a staircase, you got to start with the steps down at the bottom first and work your way up. So start with the phrases that have 10 searches a month. Once you dominate there, then go to the 20s and then the 30s and the 40s. And if you go that way, you will dominate those phrases that have high search volume and high competition. And it doesn't have to take forever to do that. You can do that in a matter of months. So these are all different topics and questions about construction manager salary. Your results will happen quicker if you start with really specific questions with lower monthly search volume and then work your way up the top. You can see here that in October of 24, none of these said yes. And what starting in no means, if you type this question into YouTube and you find your channel ranking at the top, that's a yes. That means you're in the top 3. If you have to scroll down and you find yourself further down in the top 20, that's a starting. And if you don't find your video there, give yourself a no. Okay, I add up all the yeses with a score of 1 and startings with a score of 0.25. So on this particular channel for Jason Schroeder, we add up all the startings and we had a score of 3.25. By November 15th, we increased to an 8, a score of 8.25. Then a couple weeks later, an 11, then 18. By the end of December, we had a score of 21 out of 21. The bottom row here out of is just because I've listed 21 different titles that we want to rank for. We checked this ranking again in February and we maintained that. It typically doesn't decline from there. So there's a very tactical, predictable way. You find a branch like this that you want to dominate, a group of questions or topic. And then you can systematically and predictably Go after the questions that have low volume and low competition and work your way up to those that have high volume. All right, it's saying I had a network error. I don't know what that means, but I want to ask another question. Do any of these videos show examples of videos they have ranking at the top of YouTube? Okay, so looking at the summary that it's given here, it says that Yuri gives an example of his own videos reaching the #1 position by targeting specific keywords and optimizing the first 30 seconds. I wonder what that means. What does it mean to optimize the first 30 seconds? Like the intro, I guess. It says that TubeBuddy talks about real examples during their walkthrough, because one of the channels was TubeBuddy, not just the tool. But they talk about real ranking examples. They explain that even small channels use long tail keywords. Think Media mentions small channels. Dan Creator gives examples where SEO tweaks boosted his videos, but I don't think he really shows examples. None of these videos seem to focus heavily on showing visual before and after proof. Most describe the success verbally or use screen sharing to quickly highlight top ranking results. I mean, that's good. If one of these videos can show top ranking results. Okay, I've got a question here. Is there a path for someone to dominate YouTube search for their topic? All right, let's see what it says here. Okay, so pick a focused niche. I actually like that. Choose a very specific topic area. So broad topics like fitness are too competitive. Narrow topics like calisthenics for beginners, 2025, are better. I would agree with that. That's actually pretty good. A content cluster instead of one video. Make a series of videos around related keywords. One video on how to do push-ups, another one for push-up mistakes, another one for push-up variations for beginners. Start by ranking for long tail, low competition keywords. Over time, YouTube recognizes you as the authority and boosts you for beginner keywords. So I 100% agree with this, except for I would define long tail as being much longer. I can ask the question like, what do these videos define as long tail? I love this advice. Upload consistently and cover your niche completely. I go a lot more specific into niche. I use a tree analogy, and so you take your trunk, your main area of expertise, and you divide it into all the branches, and you compare all the different branches together. And you look at, is this branch my target audience? Oh, this branch, actually, they're more qualified. They're not beginners, but they're more experienced. Ooh, I can compare these two branches. This one's more B2C, but this one's B2B, which is my focus. You know, whatever your focus is, you can hone in and compare your branches and know really where you want to focus and where you want to dominate. Okay, this is interesting. Internal linking strategy. Link your videos together in the descriptions, pinned comments, playlists. That can be helpful. I haven't found it really helpful for actually getting your video to rank at the top of YouTube. But it can't hurt either. So go ahead and try that. Make sure your title matches what people are searching exactly. You need to have a good thumbnail. Okay, great, but that doesn't relate to SEO. That definitely works for boosting your click-through rate. Going back up to this, I actually love this. It says Think Media and TubeBuddy both stress that more at-bats equals more hits. You need enough videos to own the search results. That is absolutely true. And if you follow the strategy that I teach where you can really map these out, I'll show you another example. This is how we got to the top of YouTube for Discipline Child. We just found all the different questions. We started at the bottom, we worked our way up the top, and now if you type in Discipline Child into YouTube, we are dominating that space. So I'm really excited about this tool. I plan on asking it a lot more questions, and I'll create future episodes with that. Let me know in the comments below, what question should I ask and pull from this database of these top YouTube creators? And if you're curious to know the strategy that I teach and that I use to get all these videos ranked at the top of YouTube, I've created another episode, and I'll link to it right here. It's called YouTube SEO Secret Strategy. If your goal is to get your videos to rank at the top of YouTube and dominate YouTube for hundreds of different questions, you really want to learn this strategy. So go watch that episode next.